Thank you, Undersecretary, for your testimony and for being here today. What's happening in Gaza is a horror of mass starvation, mass murder, and even a plan for ethnic cleansing that Americans are helping to pay for. Every day brings us fresh horrors of starving children, in fact, some of them starving to the bone, civilians killed by snipers while they seek out food, and entire families wiped out by the IDF. And as I mentioned, and as you know, Americans are helping to pay for it. I wanted to ask you what the Trump administration's plan is to stop it. As we and the world witnesses these horrors, what is your plan to stop it?
Representative Castro, thank you for your question and for allowing me to respond. When we talk about Israel-Gaza, I think it's important to remember two specific things. First, this situation started on October 7th when Hamas invaded Israel and killed nearly 1,200 Israelis, mostly civilians, in the most heinous and barbaric ways. Second, I think we should also emphasize that Hamas could end this conflict today. It could put down their arms. They could return the hostages.
But certainly
Hamas
you're not suggesting, hold on, I'm going to reclaim my time for a second. You're not suggesting that those 5- and 6-year-old kids have any control over what Hamas does, are you? In fact, those folks in Hamas, the people who make up Hamas, many of them are hidden away in tunnels or out of Gaza and are not the ones who are being subjected to these bombs and missiles and starvation and so forth.
What I was going to say, Congressman, was that we mourn the loss of any civilian life, whether that's Israeli, Palestinian, whomever. And that's why we're focused on achieving a ceasefire. It's the laser focus of President Trump and of this administration.
Well, Undersecretary, I guess I want to tell you, just for a second, I want to tell you when Anthony Blinken sat where you're sitting in December, I believe, I told him that I was disappointed with how the Biden administration approached this and that we didn't do enough during that time to stop these horrors. And I will say the same thing to you as part of the Trump administration, that our government is not doing enough. We have all on this dais called out Hamas for the horrors of October 7th. We have labeled them even before this as terrorists and penalized nations or anyone who has associated with them. But what actions have we taken against Benjamin Netanyahu's government for the horrors that they've committed? Where are the consequences for their action?
Thank you, Congressman. What I was going to say was that we're very focused on achieving a ceasefire and delivering humanitarian assistance. As you may be aware, and I think there was some press reporting overnight, that Special Envoy Witkoff is going to be leading the engagement. He's headed to the region right now to work to finalize the aid corridor and reach a ceasefire. You asked what we're doing. That's one of the things we're doing is Special Envoy Witkoff will be traveling to the region to work on this issue.
Let me raise another issue with you, because Israeli settlers in the West Bank attacked the Palestinian Christian village of Taibeh, setting fire to a cemetery and a 5th century church. U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, who's been a very strong supporter of Israel, called the attack, quote, an act of terror, and that they should be, quote, found and prosecuted, not just reprimanded, unquote. He similarly described the lynching of Palestinian American from Tampa, Florida, Saifola Musalet, by Israeli settlers in the West Bank as, quote, a criminal and terrorist act. That's 2 acts of terrorism within weeks by the same group of people, Israeli settlers in the West Bank. I want to ask you, will the United States be pursuing independent investigations into these terrorist attacks by Israeli settlers?
Thank you, Congressman. I understand that the IDF is investigating incidents.
Will the United States government launch an investigation into these attacks?
And as I said, Special Envoy Witkoff is traveling to the region, and it's very much in President Trump's interest and his objective to reach stability in the region. He's working on ceasefires.
Will you guys commit to an independent United States investigation into these attacks?
Thank you for asking that question. I don't have an answer for you at this moment, but I've provided you with an answer to your question on what we've been doing on this issue and how we're working towards a ceasefire.
I yield back.